I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. But the real problem is that our leaders are dumb. Dumb. So dumb.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
But the real problem is that our leaders are dumb. Dumb. So dumb.
Could we have done that sooner?
We are doing it.
But should we have done it sooner?
We are doing it.
But the real problem is that our leaders are dumb. Dumb. So dumb.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
this thing on? Hello? Hello?
Yeah. I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
I think it's on. Someone let me know. I just sneezed and now I've got like water in my eyes because, you know, does anyone have this happen where they sneeze? And then like, and then they start crying, because that's what happens to me. Oh, you want me to wear the glasses? Oh shit. Okay.
Look, talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor schools, the Title I schools, triple the amount of money we spend, from $15 to $45 billion a year. Give every single teacher a raise to the equal raise of getting out of the $60,000 level. Number two, make sure that we bring in to help the teachers deal with the problems that come from home. The problems that come from home, we have one school psychologist for every 1,500 kids in America today. It's crazy. The teachers are, and I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. They have every problem coming to them. We have to make sure that every single child does in fact have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes and parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help, they don't know quite what to do. Play the radio, make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone, make sure the kids hear words.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
Get your words straight, Jack.
Everybody comes in your grandmother here.
Testing, folks. We got a show to do for y'all. I'm doing the show for y'all today, folks. So we got a program here. Welcome to the program. You can see like my desk set up here a little bit. That's actually it's a privacy concern. Anyway, folks. Thank you for showing up on today's program. If you didn't see the State of the Onion last night, then go watch my archive of that stream, and so you can go do that. Damn, that's hot. Thank you. If you want me to put them back on, I will require monetary contributions. Well, so anyway, got a show going on today. Tomorrow, I got a guest on the program. I'm going to be getting a one Harvey K on the show. Y'all may know who that is. If you don't, then you'll know tomorrow. I have to learn how to use Zoom. I've never used Zoom before, and so I have to learn how to use Zoom for this. So I'm going to figure that out. So that's going to be the show tomorrow. Today it is, we got a show going on, doing a program, and this program is happening right now. So doing a show. Yesterday was the State of the Onion, and so I did a stream. I'm going to be honest, I did not pace myself at all. I got pretty wasted yesterday. Like, as soon as I turned the stream off, I was just like... So anyway, apparently I did a stream last night. And I barely remember it. That said, no hangover, folks. I know Milo will be upset at this, but I got no hangover at all. So, it's good. We got none whatsoever. If you can do this show, Zoom will be a piece of cake. I'm sure it will be. I've just never used it before. I normally use Discord, but I haven't had a guest like on my show over the age of 30. I don't think ever. So, and you know, so I got to learn how to use things. I got to meet people where they are. But anyway, so we got a show going on, doing a program, folks. Got a show today. You know, got a show going on. And so you can kind of see my setup in here. So that's my webcam. You can see it there. That's my screen. You can see the reflection of me in the screen there. I've got Twitter open. You can see my other screen. Look at that. You can see what's on my desk too. Look at that. This is what's on my desk. This is the setup. This is how. This is what I'm looking at. So it's a privacy concern. You know, I don't want to. Yeah, I watched a little bit of Rashida's response, but I'm gonna be honest. I did not get through the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, the State of the Union was horrible. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think I did enough commentary yesterday. I don't remember what I said yesterday. I'm sure what I said yesterday was very intelligent, very poignant, and then I'm going to go to the video, and it's going to be me going like, right? That's going to be the video. But I'm sure what I said was very intelligent, very poignant, poignant, Pyongyang. Yeah, the GOP response, I'm sure was, you know, who cares? Honestly, I've just, where did I get those glasses at? That's a secret. It's a secret. Doing a show. Sorry I missed the State of the Onion live. I tuned in just as you were signing off and then went back and watched Nancy's Bizarre. She was on drugs yesterday. I mean, I was on drugs yesterday too, right? I'm on drugs every day. Because I like drugs. But Nancy was on drugs yesterday. Like, I don't know, like, what this whole thing was. Like, she was like, what is this? I don't know what this is. This is like, is this like some weird masturbation technique? I'm not sure. But it was very strange. Very strange indeed. I feel like Nancy Pelosi was definitely MK Ultra'd. I'm like 99% certain. Because like half the fucking SOTU, she's just sitting there going. Like that's her. Like 80% of the SOTU. So I believe Nancy Pelosi has been MK Ultra'd. That's my conspiracy theory. But some say you are too intelligent. They come to me and say, "Sir, Andrea's too intelligent. Gotta get up and make breakfast." What the fuck? What the fuck? Alright, so we got a show here. I'm doing a program. Doing a show. Chuck Schumer standing up prematurely. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was bad. But anyway, got a program here. I'm just gonna drink the shit out of this coffee. Gotta get into the zone, folks. Woo! Okay. All right. Sorry, it's taking me like 10 minutes to get the lawnmower started. All right, today, got a show going on, folks. Folks, F-O-K-E-S, F-O-A-K-E-S, folks, folks. Does anyone pronounce the L in folks? Have you ever met someone that says, like, both, but they say both? You ever meet that person? Like, they don't know how to say both. Like, oh yeah, both of you did that? Versus, oh, both. You ever meet these people? You ever meet these motherfuckers that don't know how to say both? They put an L in both. They're both trash? Yeah, I hate both of them. I hate people that speak like that. Motherfucking both. Ugh, both. If someone says both, I can't respect them at all. So if you ever see me conversing with someone, and they say both, like, look at my face, because I'm gonna make a face. I'm gonna be like Nancy Pelosi, MK Ultra. Very disappointing we don't have a new background of our Slay Queen. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. But, like, do I feel like editing this? I don't know, man. Both? I don't know about both. All I know is both. Putting an L in both is just... Can't do it. I refuse. Cannot refuse. Or I cannot accept. And I refuse. Both. Hey everyone, which one did you get? Oh, I got MK Ultra is the CIA mind control strategy. The CIA captured people illegally and force-fed them copious amounts of LSD to try to control their minds, because the CIA was convinced that LSD could control people's minds. So, but, you know, they didn't end up succeeding there, and they kind of just ruined a lot of people's lives. But anyway, you know, because again, they were imprisoned illegally. But also, when I say someone is MK Ultra, what that means is that, like, they've got, like, a handler who's, like, giving them drugs, and they're, like, not actually here, you know? So, like, when you're on psychedelics, you go like this a lot, you know? You're just really happy to be here, you know? You're just like, whoa, look at that chat room. Whoa. And so when Nancy Pelosi is doing that, I'm jokingly referring to her being on drugs as MK Ultra, because, you know, it's funny. Why are we talking about Michael Tracy? Michael ass motherfucking fuck? Oh, Maxine Waters. Reminder, Maxine Waters beat the shit out of Michael Tracy, like WWE style. Like, got the fucking chair and beat the shit out of that one, you little fuck. Anyway, folks, got a show. So, the State of the Union was a disaster for Democrats. Let's be honest. It was a big win for Republicans and a disaster for Democrats. And I want to go into this article that was released a while ago. Actually, I missed this one. Well, actually, when was this released? Okay, this was yesterday. Yeah, so I missed this one. I should have talked about this yesterday. But this definitely foreshadowed the State of the Union speech. Democrats turn against mask mandates as COVID landscape and voter attitude shift. So again, folks, we're seeing a scenario here, and, you know, I was talking about this when the governor of Colorado came out and said, I believe in personal responsibility. And so, you know, that, I think that was spelling disaster. Like I said, the State of the Union was a big win for Republicans, a gigantic loss for Democrats. The Democrats went super far right, and they didn't, like, they gave nothing to the left. Biden in the State of the Union gave nothing to the left at all, and just tacked over to the right on everything. Fund the police. Again, Biden 3x'd police funding so far as president. He 3x'd police funding. Also, reminder, 1,000 plus Americans were killed in 2021, murdered by police. And so now they're saying they declared victory on COVID during the State of the Union, and I covered that. I made a video about that part. But this was a memo that was circulating in the weeks coming up to the State of the Union. And it definitely foreshadowed what the Democratic strategy here is. And the Democratic strategy is, well, the Republicans said fuck science, and they're doing pretty well. So fuck science. Let's see if we can do it. It's gross. And again, thousands and thousands and thousands of people are going to die because these Democratic politicians wanted to score some cheap points that I'm not even convinced that these points even exist. I'm not convinced that Democratic voters or swing voters are going to be voting for Democrats if they say, all right, Republicans are anti-science. Well, let's be anti-science too. Then like the people that are going to vote against science, they're going to vote for the Republicans. So when President Joe Biden gives his state of the again, this is written beforehand, on Tuesday, the mask mandate will be gone in the Capitol, reflecting a stark nationwide shift for Democrats against public safety rule that has fueled a red versus blue culture war. Behind the shift is a blend of science and political science. So, aka no science at all. The COVID-19 landscape is improving with vaccines and booster shots easily available and proving highly effective against preventing severe illness or death. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say 70% of Americans reside in areas with low or medium COVID levels. Again, on February 24th, low COVID levels would actually be twice what the high. So high would be 100 cases per 100,000, right? That was high on February 24th. February 25th, 200 is low, right? So all they did, the science, like the numbers are still as bad as they were. The CDC just changed the graph and said, all right, high is low now, and high is like super high. Like they just changed the numbers. Like it's not like, over the course of the last week, COVID numbers dropped off a cliff. No. The COVID numbers are actually staying, again, 1,500 to 2,000 people dying a day. Hundreds of thousands of cases a day. So, and the Democrats are like, fuck it, whatever, good enough. I'm not even. After vanquishing Donald Trump, this language here. After vanquishing Donald Trump by promising to get the virus under control, Democrats are now positioning themselves to declare victory against COVID ahead of a tough midterm election. Remember last time Democrats declared victory on COVID was July 4th, 2021. Does anyone know what happened after July of 2021? Does anyone know? The Delta variant. So, we've beaten COVID. Time to take off the mask. Time to get back to life. Let's open up our businesses. Okay. I don't care about Ruben Galigo. D, Arizona. It's okay to succeed. He said there are some people that are still... succeed in what? In what? What is success? Can we define success? In fact, I'm going to bring open the Worldometer here. Classic page. So again, what is success? So we declared success in this country in July of 2021 when daily cases were at 25,000 a day. Now, personally, is that success? 25,000 people per day? I wouldn't consider that success, but we declared success as a country right here. So we're at 16,000, 12,000, all right? So now we're at 40,000 or so. So we are more than double daily cases than we were the last time we declared victory. And now Biden's declaring victory again. Let's look at the daily deaths graph here. Again, we're still hitting about 1,500 deaths a day. Now where were we in July? Oh, we're hitting 200 deaths a day? Huh. All right. So again, on that one, that's what? Like 7 times the daily deaths now? And we're declaring victory as a country. They just don't give a fuck. Moved out of crisis mode. The message is backed by advice from Biden's polling firm, Impact Research, which studied voter attitudes to COVID and found that most Americans are worn out by restrictions that have personally moved out of crisis mode. That is irrelevant to whether or not there is still a crisis. I'm gonna tell you all a story about myself. You know, I used to be very big, and I lost 100 pounds in my life over the course of, like, I think 4 or 5 months. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I went on, like, a serious weight loss journey, when I started eating, you know, a very specific diet, exercising, I got tired. I got worn out. Like, you should have seen me 2 weeks into this diet. Yeah, sure, I'd lost like 10, 15 pounds by that point, but I was exhausted. I was really worn out. Right? So, by Democrats' logic, I should have just given up. I should have just been like, oh, well, whatever. I still have health problems, but fuck it. I'm bored. So, again, I like the idea that people being worn out is in any way related to what the actual science is it's... In a February 16th memo, the firm told Democrats to take the win on COVID, warning that by 49% to 24%, Americans are more concerned about it causing economic harm than infecting them. Economic harm? What? Economic harm? Something completely made up. That's like being afraid of the boogeyman and you turn the light on and it's just like, you know, your nightlight shadow or something. The more we talk about the threat of COVID and onerously restrict people's lives because of it, the more we turn them against us and show that they're out of touch with their daily realities. You know what? I want to go to a concert. You know, some bands I like are touring. I would love to go to a concert, but I'm not a fucking psychopath. I would love to go out to a bar and get drunk in front of people. But guess what? I don't feel like catching COVID and dying. Right? But like, Democrats are like, fuck it, whatever. Fuck it. Fuck it. Democrats realized they were increasingly out of step with most people. And in many... Now, again, that doesn't matter. 63% of Americans believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. That doesn't mean that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. That's made up. That's garbage. But 63% of Americans think that Jesus is the Son of God. It's almost like reality and what most Americans think aren't the same thing. Americans are fucking dumb. Americans are some of the dumbest motherfuckers on planet Earth. These are some dumb fuck for brains assholes in this country. So because this stupid fuck country doesn't know what the fuck's going on, probably because the government doesn't tell anyone anything, then they're going to take advantage of the fact that Americans don't know what the fuck's going on. Alright, so you can read the rest of this, but we're fucked, folks. Can't wait for the next variant. Omicron 2. Coming soon? How was, I'm just out of curiosity, Sam, how was going to a concert, like, did you wear a mask the whole time? Or are you going to at the end? Okay, so this is a future event. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if I'm going to a concert, right, I'm gonna, like, you know, I'm gonna get drunk. And, like, I'm gonna be on drugs. And, like, I wanna, like, dance around and, like, get sweaty. To me, it's, like, I don't know, going to a concert with a mask on, like, I'd rather watch on YouTube. You know, like, I'm not, like, you know, that's my thing. Like, if I'm just gonna listen to the music, I'd rather just, like, listen to it on YouTube with my headphones on in my room, you know? Like, to me, like, going to a concert is, you know, it's more than just, you know, like, I don't know. I'm just not interested in going to a concert with masks on, but I don't know. Maybe it could be fun. It's just me, though. There's so much going on, folks. You saw Patti Smith in a mask, Perfume Genius. I don't know who either of them are. See, like, I like good music. Like, that's the music I like. Music that, like, isn't just, like, people humming with, like, some violin in the background. Like, that's great. You know, I don't know who Patti Smith is or Perfume Genius, so I could be completely wrong. But if I'm going to see, like, some rock and roll bands, I'm not going to sit there and go, like... You know, I'm going to be jamming out, right? So, I'm just saying. I don't know who Patti Smith is. I'm sorry. I could be, you know. Could be. Oh, Patti Smith is a singer-songwriter. What is a singer-songwriter? I never understood that phrase. Anyway, speaking of drugs, the New York Times is, well, they're not doing this. They already did it. It's already happened because I'm reading it. More people are microdosing for mental health, but does it work? So again, folks, there's been a lot of studies and interpretations of studies in regards to microdosing. I've done my own experiments as well. You know, over the last couple of weeks, I have experimented scientifically on myself, but I'll get into that in a sec. Let's read the New York Times interpretation by Dana G. Smith, February 28th, 2022. Joseph started microdosing his psychedelics 5 years ago to try to improve his mental health. I was just kind of in this depression and this rut. He said, I was unhappy and angry and agitated all the time, and it went against the way that I saw myself. Depression and anxiety run in Joseph's family, and he'd been prescribed Prozac as a kid. But when symptoms of depression returned in his early 30s, he didn't want to go back to a prescription drug. Joseph, an Austin-based designer, he asked to withhold his full name, citing privacy concerns surrounding mental health issues and illegal drug use, came across research from Johns Hopkins University about psilocybin, the active ingredient in hallucinogenic or magic mushrooms, and a small study full doses of the drug helped cancer patients. What is a full dose? That's what I hate about the way that articles write about this. Like, what is a full dose? Like, is like 50 grams a full dose? Like, what is full in this instance? Like, I'm just curious. Like, that's one of my big problems with reporting on microdosing and reporting on drug use in general, is no one ever talks about dosage. Because that's a big thing here. You know, what is a full dose versus a microdose? Like, if you don't know anything about what this is, you're not, like, you might think it's just a binary. Like, there's two options. You either take full or micro. So, what is full? I don't know. Helped cancer patients cope with depression and anxiety. Then he read anecdotes of Silicon Valley influencers claiming increased energy from taking tiny doses of psychedelics. So he decided to start microdosing a few times a week, eating a small nibble, about half an inch. Like, okay, so now, okay, so I'm sorry, as a microdosing fan. So full dose helps people cope with cancer. Eating a small nibble about half an inch. So we go from full dose, whatever the fuck that is, to, quote, half an inch. What? Half an inch? I mean, depending on how thick that motherfucker is, half an inch could fuck you up. What is that? What is this? Half an inch? Like, okay, so my second thing is, like, okay, why not, like, okay, buy a scale and weigh it out. That's just my thing. Right, but half an inch. I mean, like, I don't even know what that means. Almost immediately started seeing a benefit. It's just kind of boosted my morale, he said. I was in a little bit of a better mood. I had a little bit more pep to my step, and I was having a little bit more fun, feeling a little bit more excited about things. Microdosing is typically defined by experts as taking 5% to 10% of a, quote, full dose. Again, once again, I don't know what the fuck a full dose is. I don't know what that means. Usually LSD or psilocybin, as a way to get supposed mental health benefits of the drug without the hallucinogenic high. For instance, in a clinical setting, a 155-pound man might take 20 milligrams of psilocybin for a full psychedelic experience. For a microdose, he'd only take 1 to 2 milligrams. Now, again, one of the problems with these microdosing experiments is a lot of these clinics have like concentrated psilocybin, right? Not just like, fungal material. So it's like, 99.9% of people that are going to microdose are not going to be using milligrams of psilocybin. They're going to be using, like grams or, potentially milligrams of like actual like matter, like, fibrous materials. So, that's another problem here. It's akin to walking outside and the sun is suddenly out, said Aaron Royal, 30, a bartender in Seattle who microdoses 1 or 2 times a week with mushrooms she forages from nearby forests. Now that's amazing. It reminds you that you are a better person who can feel positive things and notice things that are beautiful. In practice, only about a third of people who microdose carefully measure the amount of psychedelic they are taking. I personally am 100%. You need to measure everything that you put in your body. That's my opinion. Hello, Max. Max is woofing. Hello, Max. Yes, you're a big dog. I understand. Big dog. Research into the mental health benefits of full doses. Again, what is a full dose? So far in this article, full dose has been undefined. Is promising. In one early phase study, even found that psilocybin at high doses may now high and full. So now we've introduced multiple different language here. So we have full, which is like ideally like 100% of something, whatever that percentage is. And then you've got high. So is high less than full or is high more than full? Who knows? Maybe as effective as a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor for treating depression. Full doses, now we're back to full, of psychedelics help the brain develop new cellular connections, a process called neuroplasticity. And there's some evidence that microdoses produce similar changes. So many of the scientists who pioneered research into full doses of psychedelics have started studying whether a microdose might also be beneficial. Again, none of these words mean anything so far, but evidence is limited and experts are divided about how microdosing helps people or if it does at all. So I just want to say real quick, the argument here that they're postulating is that it's a placebo effect. Even if taking a microdose is just a placebo effect, which let's assume it possibly is. Okay, and? Right, if we're talking about mental health, right? This isn't like, putting a, medicine on like a cut and then it heals faster than if you didn't put any medicine at all on it. Okay? Like, mental health is not quantifiable in that subject. So let's assume whatever it being a placebo effect means, how is that even quantifiable? Who knows, right? And the effect is still positive, right? And if we're talking about mental health, right, if someone is depressed or has anxiety and it's crippling or debilitating, and they take something, and that anxiety or depression is no longer debilitating, that's a win. It doesn't matter if the drug is what's making 51% of the effect, like, real or something. It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. So as far as I'm concerned, I personally do think microdoses are effective. I have experimented with this myself. And even if it's a placebo effect, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, for me, my ideal scenario is to take just enough to feel something. A lot of people say you should take sub-perceptual doses. I disagree. I think you should, take a perceptual, but not, overwhelming amount. That's just my opinion. I've had the best effects with that. So again, I see some numbers here. So let's look for the numbers. They're actually weighing out LSD here. So they're using numbers. One of the biggest problems with microdosing research is that it's hard to block the placebo effect in studies of psychoactive substance. In Dr. Irizzo's trial, 72% of people correctly guessed what they had taken, which means it's no longer blinded. For the studies showing effects in the brain, the biggest changes came at a higher end of the microdosing spectrum, 20 to 26 micrograms of LSD and 3 milligrams of psilocybin, an amount where people start to notice the drug effects. Now, again, that's actually, this echoes what I said. The biggest changes came at the higher end of the microdosing spectrum. If you feel a little bit, in my opinion, that's the ideal scenario. You want to feel something, right? You want to access that mind space, right? And then you want to utilize it to your advantage. So that's my thing. After several years of microdosing, he said the biggest change he's experienced is a general shift in his mindset, something that's harder for scientists to measure. I started because I read that it helps with depression, he said, but as I've moved on, it's really helped with a lot of mental and personal growth and an outlook on life, how you want to live, and your existence in the world. So I agree with that. I think it's great that a lot of these New York Times is talking about this. I think that this is something that hopefully in 5 to 10 years from now, assuming the world doesn't end, can be accessible to everyone all across the planet. Again, I wish articles like this would be, I mean, maybe the reason why they avoid talking about any specifics at all is because they don't want people to, like, learn any info. Like, to me, I don't know, like, it's with, like, an inch, a half an inch. Like, I don't know, like, imagine measuring mushrooms in half an inch. I can't. Like, nobody ever would ever think, oh yeah, I'm going to take 3/4 of an inch of mushroom. What? Like, it's so stupid. It really is monumentally dumb. But again, I'm a pro microdose. I'm a pro macrodose. I don't know what a full dose is. Full implies that, like, there's a percentage meter. Like, that's what full means. Like, you have 100%. In my opinion, the dose heavily depends on, like, what your body weight is, your metabolism, that kind of stuff. And you can always go higher. Like, with mushrooms, there really isn't, like, the LD50 is so high that you're not going to have really any effect. So people will say, like, a, quote, full dose is like 3 or 4 grams. I mean, if you're like 2 years old, maybe that's a full dose. I did 3 grams before. It was pretty crazy. But I could always do 4. I could do 10. I could do 20. I could do 30. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't put a percentage meter on that kind of stuff. Could do 50. I've read stories of people that have done 60 grams of mushrooms. So is that a full dose? Like, what's a full dose? I don't know. But maybe I'm nitpicky. But anyway, I'm glad people are having success with this. I've had success with this, and I think it's a successful... it's successful. I think that in general, these things are successful. So, how many elephants of herbal emoji? Whoa. Now that's a good question. I disagree, Catherine. I disagree. Most people, 3.5 is all they need. I disagree. I think everyone can benefit from well, I don't know about everyone, right? Like, as in every single person. But I think most people could potentially, benefit from doing higher doses. I mean, it also depends on your physiology. Like, for me, like, doing 1 gram of mushrooms will fuck me up. Like, that, I will be completely debilitated. I will, like, I'm fucked up. Other people, 1 gram is, like, barely anything to them. So, it depends on your physiology as well, on top of everything. 3/4 of an inch, but how much width and depth? How fat is the rail? That's my question. I mean, if anyone has experience with mushrooms, that they come in all different shapes and sizes, Anyway, let's move on. I love drugs. Drugs are good. What else do we got here? We have so much cringe. So much cringe. All right. You can start at 3.5 and take more later if needed. I disagree with that. Now, I have not done too much experimentation in the redosing, but to me, I don't know. I'm not convinced about redosing. To me, mushrooms are not like, they're not like weed. They're not like alcohol where you can just like drink another beer and then like, you know, like level out. And you know, to me, I don't subscribe to that. I think mushrooms are a whole different ballgame. I think redosing, like, it's hard to tell, like, you know, you have to take more to compensate for tolerance building, right? Like, I don't know, man. I'm not convinced about redosing, but I've yet to look into it, so I'm not going to have any definitive statements on it. That sounds cool, Mixed Media. What was my dream last night? I dreamed that I was dreaming last night. And by that I mean, my dreams were very, nothing happened other than my own brain. As one of my favorite political commentators used to say, if it's such a good question, why don't you answer it? That's a good question. But what is the question that needs to be answered? One thing to stay miles away from is Xanax. 10x more potent than heroin. I'm sorry. Okay, so I first read Catherine's at Jimmy, you know fucking nothing about drugs or anything. Really, please shut the fuck up. I read that first, and then I went to go look for the message that Catherine was responding to. And one thing is to stay miles away from Xanax. 10x more potent than heroin. So, okay, I've had Xanax before. If you're telling me Xanax is 10 times as potent as heroin, then by that logic, I should be able to handle heroin with no problem at all. Like, you know, Xanax, not bad, right? Benzos, not bad, right? I can handle a benzo or two. So by that logic, I should be able to have like one of those, like, you know, functioning addictions to heroin. I mean, if it's only 10, if heroin is 1/10 as strong as Xanax, and I've got experience with Xanax, I should be able to do heroin all day, every day with no problems at all. By that logic, fuck, they're not even in the same, like, classification. That's like, I'm sorry, man. Too dumb. Like, Jordan Peterson has entered the chat. Too fucking stupid. Oh my god. 10x more potent even me. Like fentanyl, you can make a claim that fentanyl is X whatever more potent than heroin. It's in like the same category of drug, but Xanax and heroin are not in the same category. Like it's just they're different. You know, they're similar maybe. I don't know. I've never done heroin, but I've done Xanax. Similar maybe, but the same. Like I don't know. Oh, we need to do research. Right, I forgot. Jimmy Bones, you need to do some research, they say. Like, okay, so let's do some research. Fucking heroin is 10% as bad as Xanax. I both. I can't with your fucking bullshit. Both. It was a question someone asked you earlier, lol. Goddamn, I failed again. Oh no. Oh no. Xanax isn't going to suppress your respiratory system like opiates do, so how does potency even matter? Fuck right off, dude. You don't know anything. This motherfucker is so goddamn stupid. I mean, Jimmy Bones, a dumb fuck motherfucker. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Oh. I'm glad that, like, I've got, like, for whatever, well, I don't know if glad is the word I'm going to use here, but, you know, it's interesting that there's, like, everyone in my chat is, like, a drug addict, right? And we all know what we're talking about. And then we get this, like, straight edge, like sophomore, like, you know, loser nerd who's like, I'm going to tell my mom that you're peer pressuring me. Right, like guy who doesn't know anything about anything in the chat. Like we're all fucking drug addicts. We know what we're talking about. And then this motherfucker comes in like reading like the Dare handbook. Like next you're gonna tell me weed is more dangerous than like methamphetamine or something. Xanax is 10 times as potent as heroin. That's incredible. How does Xanax compare to something like a Percocet? I'm just curious. Like, is a Percocet like 10 times as much as heroin, or like half as much? Because I've done Percocets before, and that shit's great. Now, not that I would recommend it, of course, because drugs are bad for you. But goddamn, let me tell you. Goddamn. All right, folks. As soon as we're done talking about drugs, though, I do have the rest of the show to do. So, you are really dumb on this issue. You're doing a great job, like convincing everyone else, Jimmy Bones. You're also a straight edge loser nerd, but I'm just keeping quiet. Andrew Kohler, I would not expect you to be a straight edge loser nerd. Do you want drugs? Like, are you looking? Because I was on it. What is it? I was on it. It? Like, It 2017? The Stephen King, like, reboot? Or are we talking about It 1980, the original television, made-for-television miniseries? Or are we talking about It, the book by Stephen King? I listen to really weird music instead of doing drugs. I mean, hey, man, I'm telling you this right now. There's no reason for the instead. I'm just telling you, like, listening to really weird music while on really weird drugs, hey, that's good as hell. Very toxic pro-drug. I'm not pro-drug. I'm just saying. I have drug experience, and Jimmy Bones' experience is not congruent or consistent with my experience, nor everyone else's experience. So, No, the TV miniseries is 1990. 1990. 60. That's right, 1990. And 1980. Fucking, I was on it. Fucking it. I was on it. I can't get over the statement that Xanax is 10 times as powerful as heroin. Like, I'm sorry, I can't get over that. I can't get over Xanax being, like, everything you say from this point onward. Like, if you want anyone in this chat to take you seriously at all, Jimmy Bones, you're going to have to, like, create a new account. Like, you're going to have a new account. Come in on a new account, like, in maybe a week from now and say, hey, everyone, anyone here done benzos? And then try to present your research in a completely different way. And then you're going to have to just, like, hope to God that, like, none of us, like, like, suss you out for being Jimmy Bones. Because your credibility right now is at 0%. You have no credibility. At this point in time, so. I'll get there, Mila. I mean, I'm trying to do a show here, and now everyone in my fucking chat's fucking drug addict. Talking about their Xan. No ways, 10x. Apple cider is 10 times more powerful than cyanide. It's true. That's true. I mean, like, if you want to say Xanax is potentially more addictive than heroin, I mean, I'll listen to that, right? Like, that's an argument that I'm willing to listen to. But more potent? Like, what does potent even mean? They're just like, that's like saying beer is more potent than caffeine. Like, in what does that mean? I don't know. Like, it doesn't mean anything. You have to compare it and listen to experts. You have zero evidence of your view. You have to compare it. Compare it. What? The 1990 television miniseries versus the 2017 reboot movie series? Because I'm down to do an It comparison. Or compare It, the new movie, to the book. Or the new movie to the old movie to the book. Or all three. Like, I'm down to compare It. Everyone is salivating now with all this drug talk, and we just woke up, goddammit. That's true. What is it? Like, what are we comparing, and why are we comparing it? Like, that's what I'm curious. It is Xanax to heroin. Don't play dumb. Okay, they're different drugs. Like, what is the potent? Define potent, Jimmy Bones. Like, you're telling me if I did one Xanax, right, I could do like 10 doses of heroin to get the same effect? Like, so I can do whatever the dose is, like, because again, we're not even discussing doses here, right? But okay, so I can do 10 times the regular dose of heroin to get the same effect as one Xanax, apparently. Like, what is your problem? Like, you, one Xanax equals 10 heroines. I don't know. What are you talking about, bro? Like, I'm sorry, but what is this guy on? This guy is on, like, Xanax or heroin or both. You have to read literature, not what you've heard from the internet or buddies. Well, okay. Well, you're the one making a claim in the goddamn chat room. Take 10 heroines from... This motherfucker. I take half an inch of Xanax. I'm done. I can't. Please. Oh my god. Cut. Turn it off. Jimmy Bones is like the best troll in the world, man. I get, like, the best troll in the world is like one where you can't tell if they're trolling you. You know what I mean? Like, you just like it's like post irony, you know? Like, are they joking? Are they not joking? Or are they not joking so hard that they're joking? Are they joking, you know? I don't know, man. Mila, DM me. Half an inch of Xanax would equal 5 inches of heroin. Turn it off. I can't. The fucking inches. I can't, this motherfucker. Like, that was in the New York ass Times. Some guy was like, all right, I'm going to tell the New York Times. Like, imagine this. Like, not only did someone develop a system where they, like, measure out mushrooms in inches, but then somehow they got found out by the New York Times, and they decided to share that with the New York Times. Like, yeah, I measure my shrooms in inches. Ugh. Ugh. I knew a girl in high school named Heather Ashton. She gave a guy a blowy in the bathroom. Well, now we know where Jimmy Bones' sources are. Jimmy Bones was the guy who got the blowy in the bathroom while he was on like half an inch of Xanax. And she was on 5 inches. Turn it off. I'm done.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Oh my god. Big Frama wants you to be a zombie. You sound like a little kid. Bro, I'm not on any Big Frama. Fucking Big Frama. I can't. Every message is written in, like, perfection. Like, again, the best troll is one you don't even know. Like, they don't even know if they're trolling. Like, the idea that this motherfucker wrote Frama instead of Pharma. Like, that little detail is so... Like, that is, like, it's like, you know, when you're looking at a painting, right? And it's like, you know, like a Where's Waldo, and, like, all the faces of all the characters are really well detailed. That's Jimmy Bones' level of dedication to the troll right now. Big fucking frama. Like, it's a small detail. You might miss it if you don't, like, you know, pay that much attention. You might miss it. But when you find it, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm glad they put in that detail there. Big fucking frama. Goddamn big frama. You sound like a little kid. I hope I sound like a little kid. That's great. You have to clip this with chat screenshots. That's a lot of work. Goddamn big frama. I'm gonna take 5 inches. Oh, I'm gonna take 5 inches. Alright, folks. Alright. Cut. We gotta redo this whole thing. We gotta start the show over again. We gotta start over. Okay. Cut.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Unbelievable. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, this is genius.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It All. So, folks, we got a show here today, folks. I'd like to get everyone involved in the program. So we got a program here. Anyway, let's get into the news here and talk about some serious stuff here, actually. Texas investigates parents over care for transgender youth, suit says. So, last week, it came out that Texas's Attorney General is basically reinterpreting state law. So again, nothing new needs to be passed here. This is just the state reinterpreting, making things up in state law, declaring all trans kids to be victims of child abuse. And what they're trying to do is take away people's kids because they're trans. This is a genocide, folks. This is literally in no way, shape, or form any different at all than Nazi Germany. The way that this works is if you know a trans kid, you have to report them. Doesn't that sound familiar? If you don't report them and you know that they were there and the investigators find out that you were harboring them as a fugitive, guess what? You also get charged for child abuse. This is literally Nazi Germany. And again, I'm not saying that as a joke or a meme or anything. That's what this is. And there's already, again, the first victims here. So, let's read. Houston, Texas officials have begun investigating parents of transgender adolescents for possible child abuse, according to a lawsuit filed on Tuesday after Greg Abbott directed them last week to handle certain medical treatments as possible crimes. Possible crimes. The investigations by the state's Department of Family and Protective Services, which have not been previously reported, were started in response to an order from Mr. Abbott to the agency, the lawsuit says. Now, the order classifies circumcision as child abuse. It says that any modification of otherwise healthy body parts constitutes child abuse. Now, first of all, there's no 12-year-olds getting sex change surgeries. That's not happening. Anyone who thinks that's happening is an idiot. Second of all, again, circumcision is the forceful removal of a child's dick because you believe in a sky god and or you're too lazy to teach your kid how to take a shower. But guess what? It doesn't matter what the law says. It matters what the cops do. Are the cops going to arrest people for child abuse, for getting their children circumcised? No, so it doesn't matter. But what they are going to do is go after trans kids because the cops are fascists and they're Nazis. It's that simple. They're Nazis. No ifs, no ands, no buts. The order followed a non-binding opinion by the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, that parents who provide their transgender teenagers with puberty-suppressing drugs or other medically accepted treatments, which doctors describe as gender-affirming care, could be investigated for child abuse. Among the first to be investigated was an employee of the State Protective Service Agency who has a 16-year-old transgender child. On Tuesday, the American Civil Liberties Union of Texas and Lambda Legal went out to state court in Austin to try to stop the inquiry. The employee, who is not named in the court filing, works on the review of reports of abuse and neglect. She was placed on administrative leave. So someone who is otherwise actually investigating child abuse was removed from her job because they made up a fake version of child abuse to pretend that she's abusing her child. So someone who's actually doing their job can no longer do their job, which means there's a higher likelihood of actual child abuse happening and being unable to be helped. Like, see this. That's the thing is, it's for the kids. We got to think of the children. Oh, where's the children? We got to think of the children. Oh, the children. And then while they do this, what they're pretending it is that they're caring about is actually becoming more of a problem. It really reminds me of when the QAnon thing started happening, right? And they started accusing everyone to the left of Hillary Clinton of being a pedophile. What that actually did was it made tracking down child sex trafficking and pedophilia more difficult. It made it more difficult because there are so many fake reports. Oh, Hillary Clinton. Oh, the Democrats. So many people, because they believed in QAnon conspiracy theories, were hogging up the lines, and the people actually, investigating child sex trafficking had a harder job. More people got away with sex trafficking kids because of these conspiracy theories. So again, it's very similar to that. More kids are going to end up being abused more often because the agency is too busy with their conspiracy theories about trans people. Anyone involved with this needs to go to jail for the rest of their life. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go the fuck to prison. If you are trying to be a Nazi in the year 2022, you need to go to jail. Just like Putin needs to go to jail because he's a Nazi, Greg Abbott is also a Nazi. These are fascists. Again, folks, there's a reason why the Republican Party is so in bed with the Russian government at this point. They're in massive support of Putin, and it's because they're fascists. Fascists see each other all across the globe, and they wink and nod at each other. This is fascism here in the United States. Again, if you have a trans child, you are harboring a fugitive, and you're child abuse. That is child abuse. If you know a trans child, you are mandated to report that to the government. Otherwise, you are, again, harboring a trans person. This is an attempted genocide. We are terrified for Mary's health and well-being, and for our family, wrote the employee in a declaration filed with the suit in which she and her husband are identified as Jan and John Doe. I feel betrayed by my state in the agency for whom I work. She added, not providing Mary with the medically necessary health care that she needs is not an option for us. According to the lawsuit, the state's investigator told parents that the only allegation against them was that their transgender daughter might have been provided with gender-affirming care and was currently transitioning from male to female. So the only evidence is something might happen, or something might be happening. That's their evidence. That's not evidence. That's nothing. That's like you have an opinion. That's like you have a guess. Yeah, the moon might fall into Lake Michigan. It's possible. So, therefore, it happened. What? Neither a spokeswoman for the State Protective Agency nor the governor's office responded to a request for comment. It was not clear if Mr. Abbott's order would survive judicial scrutiny. The order does not change Texas law, and several county attorneys and district attorneys have said that they would not prosecute families for child abuse under the new definition. Still, the directive by Mr. Abbott has had a chilling effect, and the ramifications on the redefinitions are significant. Again, it's all about fascism. It's all about making people hate trans people, and it's all about literally enacting a genocide. Because again, imagine the amount of people that are going to see this kind of stuff and kill themselves because of it. I'd be shocked if that already hasn't happened. Again, it's just othering trans people, trying to get them to kill themselves, trying to prevent them from existing. This is the same thing that Nazis did in the 1920s and 30s. There were significant amounts of research going on in Europe in regards to transgender people in the early 20th century. When Hitler rose to power, one of the first things that he did was to orchestrate book burnings. The right loves to talk about book burnings. But what books were they burning? What books were the Nazis burning? They were burning medical and scientific journals on transgender people, erasing our history. And now the modern day fascists are still operating in that worldview. They're trying to burn down the history of transgender people, hide the history of transgender people, and try to make transgender people the enemy. Why? What? It's because they are fascists. They love the idea of killing people without having to deal with the consequences. They want to legislate the death and genocide and murder of people that they don't like. And they do the same thing with all kinds of minorities. It's not just trans people. This is just, we're talking about a trans-specific story. I don't know what to tell you. But either way, people are already getting attacked for this. And you can read the rest of this article. It talks more about protesting. It talks about the bills, what to do, and how people are reacting to it. It talks about trans issues. But if you're watching my show, you should be well educated on that stuff already. But again, folks, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not good. If you live in Texas, I would recommend getting the fuck out if you can. And if you can't, buy a gun. That's all I got to tell you. If you watch Trump's recent speeches, you'll notice that he started it at CPAC 2021 after J6. Remember, he was in hiding up until that first CPAC in 2021, and then he did like a big anti-trans speech, and that was how he like got back into the public after January 6th. And it's sad, but speaking of Texas, I want to talk about this. So there were primary elections in Texas, and I want to talk about a couple of them. I'm going to watch this little video here that the Justice Democrats put out. The two primaries to watch in Texas were one with Jessica Cisneros and Greg Casar. Greg has apparently won the primary, and the race with Jessica Cisneros is going to a runoff. So Justice Democrats put out this little video here that shows the success of Greg, and as well, with the importance that we continue to support Jessica Cisneros into this runoff election. And I want to play this because it's cool and it's inspiring. So let's watch.
We are underdogs. And yet, every day, no matter what challenge we face, we overcome the odds.
Politics in South Texas is heating up, y'all. Jessica Cisneros is bringing all the smoke for the second time.
We're gonna come back and finish what we started.
That was like, just on the editing team, that was like really loud compared to like that was like several decibels louder than the music and then all the other speaking. I'm just saying, on the editing side.
We're gonna come back and finish what we started. We're gonna win.
Greg Casar is kicking off his campaign.
I'm the progressive leader with the background to actually directly represent and fight for people that get left out, and then to actually deliver real results.
This campaign shows what happens when you do invest in the talent that is here, and that we rise up to the challenge, and we obviously punch above our weight.
She's backed by Justice Democrats.
Tell us about Justice Democrats.
An organization, Justice Democrats, why we're all here today, actually.
To me, being a Justice Democrat is about being accountable to our people.
What's up, Greg? What's up, Jessica? I'm super excited, super inspired by both of you.
This state is going to change the country. Texas turning blue is inevitable.
On that, let me just talk about what AOC said there. There was actually a recent statement, I believe, by the Texas Attorney General that said that if they hadn't enacted voter laws, in 2020 to suppress the vote, that Texas would have already been blue from absentee ballots. Now, again, it's impossible to really know that, but that's interesting. They're basically admitting that Texas is already a blue state, but their voter suppression is what's keeping it in Republican control, so that's interesting.
Grammys are shot. Jessica's our shot. And when we bust that door, we're gonna bring more through.
So there you go, folks. I recommend, donating to Jessica's campaign if that's an option for you. And I don't know when the runoff is. I was hearing that if there was a runoff, it would be in May. So I'll probably continue to cover this. Runoff elections typically get less turnout, but whatever. What are you going to do? And there you go. So that's the situation with the Texas primary. One round of good news, and the other news is that it could theoretically be good news. In fact, let me get you the actual results for Texas 28. Let's see. Did Cisneros win the plurality or no? Okay, so for a runoff, it means that no one reaches 50%, right? And so Henry Cuellar got 48%. Jessica Cisneros got about 47%. But the important part is that no one hit 50, so that means there's going to be a runoff. And so, again, Jessica Cisneros needs to win. It's very close. It's very close. But Henry Cuellar getting more votes, before the runoff. It's got to motivate the base. That's the thing, is you got to motivate the base with that. People need to look at that and they got to go like, oh, fuck, almost won. So let's get a couple people that didn't vote in the primary to vote in this one. And so again, there you go. That's all I got. Good news, but we got to keep going in that one. And I don't know much about the 35th district with Mr. Greg Kassar. I don't know, going into the general, I don't know, what the district is, in that. So I'm going to study on that one a little bit before we cover that again. But anyway, there you go. That's your news. That's it. That's the scoop. And we're going to move on. Yeah, circumcision is bad. I'm sorry, Bodan, but I disagree with you completely. The idea that you're going to cut a baby's dick off, without any consent from them at all, is disgusting to me. It's genital mutilation. It's evil. It's pure evil. Anyone that circumcises babies belongs in jail. And I'm not even going to... If you are a medical professional, whatever, and you circumcise a child, you should go to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go the fuck to prison for the rest of your life. You are a disgusting scumbag. What if I said, oh, well, what if we just took out your toenail beds? Who needs to cut toenails? You'll save all that time and money. You don't need to wash out underneath your toenails. You don't need to buy the nail clippers, saving so much time and money to mutilate a baby so that they don't grow toenails. I'm sorry. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Go the fuck to jail. Do not pass go. Do collect 200 or whatever it is. My opinion, it should be illegal, and anyone that participates in that culture is disgusting. But I was just talking about adult circumcision. Oh, I mean, if you choose to get circumcised, that's a whole different story. Stop saying a dick, it's only a foreskin. It's not only a foreskin. That's oh, I mean, stop saying I cut your finger off. I only cut half your finger off. I didn't cut your finger off. Imagine if I cut this part of the finger off. This part upward. So this part I cut off. Would you or would you not say that I cut your finger off? Oh, well, technically, I only cut your fingertip off. Technically, I only cut the fingertip off. Technically. But if your fingertip gets cut off, you might go out there and say, hey, someone cut my fucking finger off. So I'm just saying, fuck circumcision, fuck circumcisers. On babies. If you're an adult and you consent, that's all. I don't give a shit. You can do whatever you want. You can install a bazooka on your fucking, in your goddamn shoulder if you want, if you're an adult. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. But if you're a baby, you should not have your dick cut off, or your fingertips, or your toenail beds, or your hair follicles. I mean, let's be honest. We should all be bald. We should all rip all of our scalps out as babies. Do we really need all these hair care products? All the money we waste on shampoo and conditioner. I mean, it's annoying. Don't you hate doing this in the shower? Isn't that annoying? So what we should do is every time there's a child being born, rip their scalp out so that they can't grow hair. Otherwise, they're doomed to an eternity of having to wash themselves. Oh, the humanity, taking a shower. And, I mean, honestly, imagine my plight. I've got an innie belly button. So every time I have to take a shower, I gotta fucking put my finger in that shit and I gotta swim around in there, make sure it's all, the gunk's all out. Can you imagine the pain and suffering that I have to deal with? If only when I was a baby, they gave me an outie. If only. Then I wouldn't have to deal with that. I don't endorse circumcision for babies. People should do that by their own will. I agree. All right, Bodan, we're in agreement. I just get triggered on this one, so, but we're in agreement. All dicks matter, folks. Yeah, I mean, if you don't feel like cleaning yourself and you want to cut your dick off, then that's fine. Please be... I mean, I respect anyone doing whatever they want. If they're an adult and they choose to be circumcised, nothing but respect. My only problem is that people don't have the opportunity to make that choice. That's all. That's my problem. All right, let's continue with the news, folks. So, I want to talk about Ukraine and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And I want to start this off by highlighting here we have a dumb fuck. His name is Jimmy Dore. He is apparently a YouTube host of some kind. And he is going to tell us in this clip that everything you've been told about the Ukraine is wrong. And let's watch.
The fake outrage or the manufactured or the selective outrage over Ukraine is amazing. So the outrage you're feeling now is the outrage you should feel when the United States bombs or occupies a country, which is every day. So,
okay, I just want to say, to be very clear, one of the biggest issues going on in regards to the propaganda storm of Russian assets is their big strategy is whataboutism. Now, again, I agree. The U.S. is an imperialist country. When they bomb and invade and occupy other countries, that's wrong. I agree. I agree. But that does not, in any capacity, downplay or mean that what Russia's doing is okay. Okay, so now again, Jimmy Dore gets paid by RT. He's a Russian asset. We already know this. This guy's a fucking freak show. He's not a leftist. He's pro-imperialist. Now again, if you want to say, yeah, what Russia's doing is evil and disgusting and Putin is a fascist dictator, but let's be honest, so is the United States. The United States is also garbage, and they're an imperialist, warmongering nation. I agree. I agree. But if you're going to say that the USA is evil, and then say that what we're learning about Ukraine, or rather, as Jimmy says, the Ukraine, what we're learning about the Ukraine is wrong, then at that point you are pro-imperialist, but when Russia does it. And that is not a position that a leftist would take. But let's continue.
If you're feeling outrage over what Putin is doing in Ukraine, you should feel like this every day of your life. Of course you don't, because you're propagandized and you don't even know it.
So I don't know who this guy is talking to, but it's clearly not us or anyone related to us watching this. But he's talking to somebody.
Just like you've been propagandized to think what you think about the Ukraine right now, which is 100% not what's happening.
So what we think about the Ukraine, whatever the Ukraine is, again, very much so Putin's kind of vernacular, is wrong. So when we see videos of civilians being bombed and dead children, Jimmy Dore is saying that that's a lie. Now again, I am 100% with calling out the U.S. and its war crimes and its imperialist nature. Okay? Agreed. But if you're going to do that and downplay what's going on in Ukraine with Russia's invasion, then you're just a fucking piece of garbage. We need to be against imperialism, full stop. Not against U.S. imperialism and in favor of Russian imperialism. Because that's not a principled stance. That's a stance that someone who's being paid by Vladimir Putin would take. Which, again, Jimmy works with RT, so.
The thing you think is not happening. So I just want to just a little bit for this is just for the hypocrisy meter. So this is Condoleezza Rice, who was instrumental in overthrowing a country that had nothing to do with attacking us, and then they instituted a torture program.
Condoleezza Rice sucks. I agree. Now, if this was just shitting on U.S. imperialists talking about Ukraine, I would agree with Jimmy Dore. I would agree. But again, what he is doing here with his audience of nearly 1 million subscribers, what he is doing is he's trying to say the U.S. is bad, but Russia's good. How? Like, again, it's just doesn't. If you are attacking the USA's war crimes, that's great. But if you're attacking the USA's war crimes in favor of Russia and saying, all right, that because the USA did that, that means Russia doing this is okay, I'm sorry, that's wrong. It's wrong when when the USA does it. It's wrong when Russia does it. It's that simple.
Program to cover it up, and which is still going on. Fox News host Harris Faulkner turns to Condoleezza Rice this morning and says, when you invade a sovereign nation, that is a war crime. Let's see what she says about it.
Invade a sovereign nation, that is a war crime. I mean, I think we're at just a real basic point there.
Well, I'd agree. It is certainly against every principle of national law and national order, and that's why.
So anyway, whatever. I'm going to skip that part. So one of the things that we really want to talk about when it comes to Russian disinformation is, yes, the United States has made a laughing stock of the UN, of international law. The concept of international law has been thrown out the window. Let's be honest, the US played a huge part in that. How can anyone take the UN seriously when, you know, what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan happened? Let's be honest. Russia knows that. Everyone knows that. So Putin is taking advantage of that. Putin is basically saying, oh, well, the Americans were able to do whatever the fuck they wanted, and they got away with it, so that means I should be able to. I'm owed that. If the Americans can go into Iraq and Afghanistan and murder 1 million people for no reason and then don't even accomplish their supposed goals, can't I overtake the Ukraine? Right? So that's the idea. That's Putin's idea. He wants to take advantage of that. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. The whole world said, yeah, fuck you, Russia, which is good. I'm glad that the world is putting their foot down. Now, I want them to do that with the United States as well, with China as well, with other imperialist countries. I want the international community to treat all war crimes as if they are war crimes. But right now, what we're seeing in Ukraine is horrible. And anyone trying to downplay what's going on in Ukraine is a scumbag. Being an anti-imperialist means being against imperialism by all imperial powers. Vladimir Putin is literally trying to bring about another Russian empire. He is trying to undo the Soviet Union, and what he is trying to do is reunite the Russian people, reunite the motherland. He is literally pulling out playbooks of czars, emperors, and Adolf Hitler. Anyone caping for this guy is a freak show.
A little low on this clip, I apologize, but what she said is that when you invade a sovereign nation, that is a war crime. And Condoleezza Rice was nodding, yes, it is. And she then said it goes against everything and every established norm and all the rules. And establishment factors are going all out, leveraging this to whitewash their own past act. So she's, I mean, it's close to a war. I mean, how they committed a war crime. They invaded a country illegally, killed hundreds of thousands of people, displaced millions, ruined lives, lied about it.
It's true.
And then ordered a torture program to cover that up. So, and this guy says Condoleezza Rice just admitted when you invade a sovereign nation, it's a war crime. So when is the Bush administration heading to The Hague? So that's amazing. All right. And not only.
So I just want to say, I agree with this. And it needs to be understood that, yes, imperialism is bad, but the key point here is back again before he got Condoleezza Rice open. He said, everything you're feeling and know about the Ukraine is wrong. So again, if you are anti-imperialist while defending other imperialist nations, you're not an anti-imperialist. This is propaganda. Yes, the Azov Battalion is real in Ukraine, but guess what? Whatever you think about the Azov Battalion, oh, they're Nazis. Yes, they are. Russia's Nazi portions of their military are significantly more powerful and significantly bigger and more widespread than the Azov Battalion. Right? So again, all of these things that people are attacking Ukraine over, again, referring to it as the Ukraine. For those of you that don't know, my understanding of that is Ukraine is a country. The Ukraine is what the region was referred to before Ukraine became a country. So when people say, oh, it's the Ukraine, they are denying its status as a sovereign nation by just referring to it as a region. That would be like saying the Americas, as opposed to, I don't know, like North and South America, or, you know, the United States of America, if you were just referred to that as the Americas, or, you know, so it's just like a way to... Now, again, if you want to say the Ukraine because you don't believe in any countries and we need to abolish all borders, okay, maybe. But if you're Vladimir Putin and you're trying to take over another fucking country and you're just going to pretend the country's not a real thing, and then you have your people out there saying, oh, what you're seeing in the Ukraine doesn't exist, I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. I don't know what to tell you. These people are freak shows. They really are. They're genuinely freak shows. We need to be against war crimes everywhere. In the same way that it's cringy when Condoleezza Rice is against war crimes in Ukraine, but in favor of war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan, it's cringy when Jimmy Dore is against war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan, but in favor of war crimes in Ukraine. You're both fucking stupid. These people have been built up. These people have been funded by RT, by Russian disinformation propagandists since 2016. You wonder why left-wing media online is in such disarray? It's because people leverage this kind of stupidity for their own personal gain. Republicans leverage Jimmy Dore's brand of stupidity for their own personal gain. The Kremlin leverages his stupidity for their own personal gain. Jimmy Dore is an anti-left freak. What he wants to do, his mission, is to take people that are rightfully disaffected. Yes, the Democratic Party sucks. But how you go from the Democratic Party sucks to Russia invading Ukraine is good, actually, I don't know. I cannot figure that one out. How someone can go from, I don't think Hillary Clinton's a great person, to, oh, Putin is actually awesome and invading the Ukraine is a good thing. Like, I don't know how you get there from that part to the other, but Jimmy Dore, that's his career. He is bridging that gap, and he is paid to do so. So, it's a problem. Catherine with the fucking big brain takes. I think the Ukraine comes from USSR. We called it the USSR, and the U stood for Ukrainian. So true. So true. Bernie Sanders released a really good Twitter thread statement yesterday in regards to Putin and Russia and the oligarchs that I want to share with everyone. Because Bernie, as far as American elected politicians, Bernie right now is where it's at. When it comes to what's going on in Ukraine and being able to take a politician seriously in regards to Ukraine, can we really take Biden seriously? No. Can we take Hillary? Hillary was making the rounds on television the other day. Can we take her seriously? No. Can we take Condoleezza Rice seriously? No. Bernie is the anti-war guy. He's been against the wars. Now, again, he's not perfect. He's voted in favor of some military actions that I disagree with. But, we got to be honest. But either way, this thread that he puts out on Russia's economic system and how Putin and the oligarchs have destroyed the Russian people, I want to read this. So, bear with me. Putin is not only an autocrat who initiated an illegal and immoral war against Ukraine, he's the leader of an oligarchic kleptocracy that's stolen billions from the Russian people. In Russia, ordinary people struggle while oligarchs make out like bandits, which they are. Incredibly, the 500 richest people in Russia with a net worth of at least 100 million now own more wealth than the bottom 99.8% of Russia's population. Now again, America has horrible wealth distribution. America is fucked up. But whatever you think about American oligarchs, and you should think a lot of negative things about them, Russia's are worse. 145 million people. This is the type of inequality that exists not just in Russia, but throughout the world. The top 0.01% in Russia has stashed over 2/3 of its wealth offshore, while the top 1% in Russia owns as much wealth offshore as the rest of the Russian population holds onshore. Globally, the rich and powerful have stashed at least $21 trillion in offshore tax havens. The hidden offshore wealth of Russia's oligarchs amounted to about 85% of Russia's GDP in 2015. While 18 million people in Russia were living in poverty last year, Russia's 120 billionaires owned $588 billion in wealth, equal to 60% of the total household wealth in Russia. Again, an absolutely brutal thread here. In 2017, it was estimated that Putin was worth $200 billion, which at the time made him wealthier than Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos combined. No one knows how much Putin is worth today, but 22 other Russian oligarchs have a combined net worth of nearly $300 billion today. That is today. That is after sanctions. Sanctions are destroying the Russian oligarchs' money that's in Russia. But again, what Bernie is pointing out here is that a lot of these offshore havens, right, are stashing money in such a way that are immune to the sanctions. They've been building up for this. Now, some of the oligarchs are a little pissed off. They thought, oh, I was going to lose 50% of my money, not 90%, right? But they have been planning for this. There's a reason why, again, Bernie Sanders says no one knows how much Putin has right now. They have been building up for this moment. They have been stashing their money. They have been building reserves. They knew that sanctions were coming. They planned for the sanctions, and they hid their money. Okay? While people in Ukraine and Russia suffer, this is my favorite tweet of the thread, Putin owns a 270-foot long super yacht that he took out of Germany before the invasion of Ukraine. Putin's yacht is equipped with a gym, a saloon, a spa, a library, and a 49-foot indoor pool that can be converted into a dance floor. Again, the description here of Bernie on Putin's yacht is great because it shows you the kind of decadent opulence that these people are living in, while the rest of their people suffer and starve. Roman Abramovich, a Russian oligarch worth $13 billion, owns the world's second largest yacht worth $600 million with its own missile detection system. He owns the English football club Chelsea worth $2.1 billion, a $170 million mansion in the UK, and another yacht in Barcelona. Elisher Usmanov, a Russian oligarch worth over $20 billion, who owns Russia's largest iron ore company, a telecommunications company, and newspaper in Russia, holds stakes in Airbnb, Spotify, Uber, and was an early investor in Facebook. For those of you that don't know, Putin and the oligarchs took what was left of Russia after the USSR, and they turned it again into a kleptocracy. They constructed a government, right, where a select bunch of people hoard all the power and wealth, and now they are using the power and wealth to try to destroy the world and take over the planet. That's what's happening. Dmitry Mazepin, a Russian oligarch worth over $1.3 billion and a former president of a major Russian gas company, owns a Gulfstream G650 private jet that recently flew over the New York area. Mazepin recently attended a meeting with Putin and a dozen other oligarchs. Alexei Mordashov, the third richest person in Russia, worth $23 billion, owns a Bombardier Global 6000 private jet and a $500 million yacht that he has been sailing in the Seychelles region for more than 10 days. He's chilling in the middle of the ocean on his $500 million yacht, super yacht. I love the term super yacht, by the way. Ever since this invasion started, he knew the invasion was going to happen. He got on his boat and he's chilling. According to Bloomberg, at least 4 Russian-owned super yachts remained anchored in Barcelona. 2 were last parked along the Florida coast in Miami and Palm Beach. 6 Russian oligarchs and their families who hold $66.3 billion in wealth own 13 properties in New York worth $588 million, including a 75-foot wide townhouse and an $88 million penthouse. Interesting number. None of these oligarchs should be allowed to park their yachts, fly their jets, sleep in their mansions, or stash their cash offshore during the war in Ukraine. But much more must be done to stop the movement to oligarchy, not just in Russia, but all over the world. Now, more than ever, those of us who believe in democracy and justice must work together to bring working people all over the world together instead of hate and divisiveness. Let us take on the greed and ideology of the top 1% and fight for economic, social, and environmental justice. Again, this is what Bernie is like. This is his thing right here. Is making fun of rich people. He's been doing it in the United States for a long time, and I just wanted to share this thread because I think it's a good idea of showing you just the kind of freaks that are the top cats in Russia. We all hate Jeff Bezos, we all hate Elon Musk, we all hate Bill Gates, we all hate Mark Zuckerberg here in the USA, but in Russia, we need to know who to hate. And so this thread gives us a very good description of what the fuck's going on in Russia with these super yachts and the richest of the rich scumbags. So, I did not reel on. Would you mind sending that to me for tomorrow, potentially? That's a good point, Home. All the valuations are fake. Hello, Ali CIA. Welcome to the program. Folks, I want to talk a little bit more about the war in Ukraine before the show ends today. I want to say that I want to provide a little bit of a trigger warning for this. I'm going to show some footage that is pretty horrifying here of what's going on in Ukraine over the last couple of hours, the last 10 or so hours. Now, again, Russia's government, Putin himself, has said that they are not targeting civilians. Russia and Putin's whole pretext for joining this war, for entering Ukraine, was that they wanted to, quote, denazify Ukraine. They went in on a peacekeeping mission. Interesting. Well, during their peacekeeping mission, where they have said repeatedly that they're not targeting civilians, we have a video here of an apartment that has been completely destroyed by the war. This is in Kharkiv. This is just a quick video of someone's living space completely demolished, completely destroyed. And again, this is all over Kharkiv. This is all over Ukraine. Civilian infrastructure has been targeted repeatedly. They started targeting civilian infrastructure on day one while they were lying about it being a peacekeeping mission and that they were only going after the military. They've lied every step of the way. And I want to play this other video here. Again, this is a very graphic video. This is a video of someone doing a report This is just a citizen or a citizen journalist, whatever, recording a report. Now, I don't know what they're saying, but as they are recording their update, they are nearly killed by a Russian shell attack. So let's just watch.
Друзья, отчитываемся, потратили все деньги, только что заработали терминалы в росте.
Again, I don't really know what they're saying. If someone wants to try to translate that for me, I would appreciate that. But
мы скупились, поразвозились, сейчас еще закинем в метро, и мы кончились, поэтому если сбор денег снова.
So again, they are in a residential area. They're recording an update on the bombing of residential areas as their residential area is bombed. Now, presumably this person is okay as they managed to post the video. But this is what's happening in Ukraine. Don't let anyone lie to you that this is a peacekeeping mission. This is, they're denazifying Ukraine. Don't let anyone lie to you, because that's not what's happening here. Right? There are a lot of these videos circulating all across the internet of multiple areas. There's a lot more videos over the last 12 hours that I'm not even going to show on the stream. There's a video I saw of decapitated civilians in the middle of the street after Russian invasions of these cities. And you can find these videos online. But again, this is I feel comfortable enough showing you this, but there's so much more going on in Ukraine that is something that you wish was in a video game. Like, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. And there's people out there defending Putin on this. It's ridiculous, folks. It's incredibly horrifying to watch. And people need to understand that imperialism there's no reason for any of this. There's no possible justification for anything that's going on here at all. So I just, According to Bodan, he said that he was gathering his money, presumably either to flee the country or to help the national army to resist invasion. Yep. And again, as he's recording an update in his residential complex, it is destroyed. It's horrible. All right, y'all. That is the program for today. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to have a guest on the show. Harvey K will be on the show, an author, a professor of some kind will be on the show. You've seen him on Majority Report. You've seen him on the Michael Brooks Show. Harvey K will be joining us, bringing him in. Thank you, Mila, for setting that up, by the way. So that will be tomorrow, Friday. I don't know what's going on Friday. We'll figure it out. That's the show, folks. If y'all have questions for Harvey, feel free to write them down. If you come up with any questions in the next 23 hours, write them down, and we'll do like a little question section. So if you have anything you would like to be discussed or whatever, feel free to write them down and field them to me when the opportunity arises. What a super hot and stylish YouTuber girl. Thank you. I'm trying my best. Look, wait. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
You're not like.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. At the same time, the vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind.
Even before you do that, and not even including that, that's why I hardly even included that number, although in one state we have a tremendous amount of dead people, so I don't know. I'm sure we do in Georgia too. I'm sure we do in Georgia too.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
But the real problem is that our leaders are dumb.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
But the real problem is that our leaders are dumb. Dumb. So dumb.